There has been some qualifiers at the latest World Cup event coming up in the United States of America and, of course, Canada and Mexico. First, something interesting before we look at the qualifiers. There is a small country, yes, very small, I must tell you, over just about 150 persons make up that country that will be going to the World Cup. Curacao, from the CONCACAF region, has just qualified for the World Cup. Nigeria, with over 200 million people, will not be going to the World Cup. What do you make of the qualifier of Curacao for the World Cup? No country as small as 156 persons has been to the FIFA World Cup.
It's not about numbers, it's about preparation, right? Because if it's about numbers, then India will win the World Cup, China will win the World Cup. So it's not about numbers, it's about preparation. And for Curacao, yes, if you check now, it will be probably be a team of part-timers. Then again, the federation where they come from also matters. It will talk about the kind of competition there, and a lot of times these smaller countries, they look for, should I say, they trace the lineage of the people in other parts of Europe and bring them back home. Like Cape Verde did something similar, if you remember. But for a country with that more amount of people qualifying for the World Cup, that should be the story of the World Cup. That should really be the story of the World Cup, and we really can't wait. And to them, it won't be about winning, it won't be about drawing, it's about the fact that we are in the World Cup, participating in the World Cup. For Nigeria, we need to plan another day. What more can be said about Nigeria?
Wow, what more can be said about Nigeria? We're talking about those who have qualified for the World Cup, and we mentioned there that Curacao, a very small country in the CONCACAF region, an island, so to say, has qualified for the World Cup. And like China did allude, it's not about number. Last time we saw a small country as that was, I think, Iceland, and that was in 2018 or so. Epo, what has number got to do with it?
No, like China said, I don't think it's about number. I think it's about, the World Cup without event like this or historic trends like this doesn't make the World Cup very exciting. So I'm happy that we'll get to see some of these countries having the opportunity and privilege to qualify. Cape Verde in Africa, qualifying for the first World Cup, it's beautiful. And I think that is an eye-opener to seeing that, come on, the more this expansion from FIFA, the more room other countries who, ordinarily should not even get close to qualifying, we have the opportunity to be there, and that makes it loving because it's about unity and diversity. We want to see different culture, different countries who you do not believe, but somehow they get enough to be part of it. So that's the exciting thing about it, and for me, it will be a historic turn. It will be one that will be ever remembered. Like China said, it's not about winning. I don't think they will come down. It will be surprising. Any other thing they achieve come next year's World Cup will be an added advantage and an added history for them. So it's about going there. Let's get to see how they will, fare in the group stages. But I tell you, it will be one of the biggest, preview ahead of the World Cup next year.
China, talking about Curacao qualifying for the World Cup, you said number, it doesn't matter. Do you think the coaching does matter? Curacao has a Dick Advocat, and China, you there? We just hope that we'll have China actually join us. The technical issues affecting him joining us via Zoom there. But still looking at qualifications for the World Cup, April, we now have Panama and Haiti, returning to the FIFA World Cup next year. Is China there? China, are you there? Okay, we're still having technical issues, and we hope it will be all sorted out before we wrap up this show. Panama and Haiti are the other qualifiers for the latest qualifiers for the FIFA World Cup. And talking about Haiti reminds me of Congo DR. Congo DR's last appearance at the World Cup was way back in 1974. Same year where we had Haiti as the first and last time they were at the World Cup. What is it about teams who have been away from the football tournament 50 years plus returning back to the tournament?
I think it's just a quest to do the right things, and when you have a federation or you have players and you have the technical crew who are determined to changing the narrative, you get to see them, and these opportunities are even more in regions like Africa, CONCACAF, and in the Asia, because sometimes you see a country develop its football. It doesn't matter how far they fared before, but you just see a narrative being changed, and I think that's the case of Curacao, Panama, and Haiti. And I'm not surprised at all, because when you give opportunity to young lads who have a lot, some of them are playing in top leagues. They are not. We don't get to know them because they are not as pronounced as other. But when you bring them together as a team and you have the right coach to man them, you get to see something like this. And for me, I'm happy with Panama and all that, because we're going to see some of the teams growing up, and that hunger will be there because they have not been for a very long time in the World Cup.
Talking about Curacao going to the World Cup, in their last fixture, they played against Jamaica, and they played at a goalless draw. They needed a draw to top their group, and that they have done conveniently to go straight to the World Cup without going through the qualifiers. But talking about going through the qualifiers, April, remember there is intercontinental qualifiers coming up in March next year, and that qualifier now has all of the 6 teams in there. There is Jamaica that drew against Curacao there. Suriname is already in that group. There is Panama, there is Haiti there, and of course from Africa there is Congo DR. This is the group where the Super Eagles meet narrowly, and the Congo DR will be going to see whether they can pick up one of the 2 tickets available via these intercontinental qualifiers. What do you make of the teams that have qualified? Suriname and of course Suriname, and of course we talked about Jamaica that drew with Curacao, Panama, Haiti, and of course Congo DR.
I think that will start with that of Africa. It's loving. It's loving to get to see Congo with the effort they played. I'm not surprised at all that they can get something from this particular one. I'm also very optimistic that it will take a team. I mean, you cannot predict the outcome from that team match. But one thing I can predict is that Congo will be very resilient and very physical when they play against these countries. Against Jamaica, they are experienced, and some of the teams.
There's Bolivia in that group. Bolivia is more, and New Caledonia. But again, FIFA ranking will determine where you play.
It is, and I think that Congo have a very strong FIFA ranking if you look at it. But Bolivia also has, they're very good. The South American team that I fear them most. For me, I think Bolivia will have a strong advantage to getting to the finals. I don't know about, since it's 2 countries that will be qualifying. I just wish that Congo will pick one of the slots. But I mean, take nothing for granted. Teams like Curacao, teams like Panama, teams like Jamaica, you don't take those things for granted because they play good football. They are from the Americans and they want to be at the World Cup. That drive to be at the World Cup is even more. So I just hope that DR Congo will not go this far and then end up not showcasing their style when the continental playoffs comes up in March.
Still bringing you briefs around the FIFA World Cup coming up in Mexico, Canada, and the United States of America. Latest qualifiers, we have Curacao, like I mentioned to you, as one of the latest qualifiers for the World Cup. Across Europe, Belgium and Spain are into the last day of the World Cup qualifiers. What do you make of it, Spain and Belgium qualifying?
Yeah, Spain and Belgium qualifying, and is good. I think that Croatia have also qualified, and I'm thinking that for the European teams, it will be it will be unheard of that Spain didn't qualify for a World Cup. It will be very unheard of. And so that they've qualified shows that, yes, expectedly, these are the challenging teams. These are where the battle will begin. And the European countries have shown that when it comes to the World Cup, a lot of expectations are in, for them. So for me, I'm just thinking that if we have all the big teams qualified from Europe, and we have, other teams, the battle will always be between the European countries and maybe the South American countries. But for me, Spain is a top priority when it comes to World Cup qualifications.
Spain, no doubt, is a top priority. Former champions are getting to the 2026 edition of the FIFA World Cup. The qualifiers for the World Cup is in March next year. So far, top European teams, all the 12 European first place teams have qualified for the competition. We have Scotland as well returning to the World Cup. I think last time they were in World Cup was 1998. And there is Austria as well back to the World Cup. So the top qualifiers in Europe have all been known. There will be another playoff as well to see who other team from Europe will join. That will be max next year. Same we will have in the other parts of the world. But so far so good at the World Cup. Teams have all top teams have all bet for maybe Italy, would you not be going to the World Cup again?
Yeah, Italy, they've been very unfortunate because...
Unfortunate?
Yeah, unfortunate because, the level of inconsistency is very glaring, when you miss back-to-back in World Cup. The last time they went, I think it was in 2014 thereabouts, but they've been playing in Euros. They know how to, achieve that particular one. They do so well when it comes to Euros competition. So somehow I begin to wonder...
Talk about doing so well. They often have the biggest record of 31 unbeaten matches. I think the same record which Spain have just matched. But it counts for nothing when you don't go to the Mundial.
No, it counts for nothing. I mean, Italy is... I expect them to do an overhaul in their administrative system because when you miss out from a big Mundial like this, it doesn't tell well at all. The last time we saw them brilliantly was in 2006 when they hosted, and we saw how they won that particular one. So for me, when Germany hosted rather, I think that for Italy, something needs to be done because they have fine players. So very renowned goalkeeper. So you ask the question, what is happening? It just is similar to the case of Super Eagles of Nigeria. But I keep my finger crossed. 6 more teams to qualify for the World Cup. 42 have qualified already. Keep our finger crossed and see how far it goes.
With joy in Spain over the qualification of the national team, football team for the FIFA World Cup coming up next year.